It's not even the same word.
It is the same word, you crazy.
You said bois, and then you said bois.
You're an idiot.
Quick question. Is that the PG version? Is there a culo version or a teta version?
No.
Fourth the tits?
No.
Or fourth the ass?
Por si las tetas.
I want to address every Spaniard watching this video. You have some explaining to do because, I got some problems right now.
You always have problems.
Yeah, I do. Spanish is a problem. Nope. I got this. I got this.
You
After,
are
nope. I got this.
Spain number one enemy.
I got this. Because this is what I had my problem with Spanish. Because after our last little outing with family and friends, and listening to conversations, I was wrong. I used to say Spanish was like the language of the machines. Because for me, it was just like, there's no reason why it has to be so complicated. You shouldn't need an algorithm to translate this language. And that's what it kind of felt like for me. But now I've realized that isn't it. The truth is, Spanish is probably not even real.
So we live in the Matrix.
No. Spanish is more of a mythical language.
A mythical
language, like a unicorn or something. Like we know about it. Some of us might believe it because I feel like I'm trying to solve a riddle from Dungeons and Dragons whenever I'm trying to translate someone in Spanish.
We are unique, like a unicorn. That for sure.
That's what you got from there.
Yes. I just heard the good things, that we're unique, that we are very mystical, that we are very rich, and you need a level of intelligence to understand
I didn't say that part.
Because if you have to decipher things, you need a level of intelligence. So
no, because I'm
taking all that in. Thank you, baby. You're so nice.
No. Because the thing is, you guys don't just talk normal. You talk in fantasy.
In fantasy.
In fantasy. You talk in fantasy. That's the only way I could put it. Because I've come across something that I realized. There's something else that you guys have that I just learned. Refranes?
Refranes? You just didn't learn that, but okay.
No, because my way of your sentences is just sayings, because that's all you ever say, and frases. And I don't know, and I know frases is like sentences, isn't it?
Yeah,
no?
Frases hechas is like sayings.
Frases who?
Hechas. Done.
Throwing?
No, hechas, done.
Done?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
No, echar. Hechas.
I'm like, now you're throwing sentences.
No.
Okay.
Sentence.
But can you explain refranes and what is the difference between like a refranes and a saying?
So both things are colloquial ways of talking that we use a lot. That's true. And I think that's one of the reasons why Spanish can be very complicated for Americans that are learning the language, right?
Oh yeah, extremely. Because I've been here now for a year, and I'm just getting this part now.
Yeah, because there is a lot of words that they don't mean what they say.
Yeah.
Because refranes and sayings are very similar things in terms of things that are done, like that's the structure of it.
What's the difference?
And refranes are, I was gonna say mystical, but they are like they're sentences that have some wisdom within.
Okay.
And gives you an advice.
Can you give me an example of this?
Of a refran?
Yeah.
See, now you're putting me in the spot. And it's like, wait, I don't know any, but of course I know.
Because I've seen some, and I think I have an idea, I have an understanding of what you're saying now. Because to me, it sounds like proverbs, like what we call proverbs. Like
yeah, but we also have proverbs.
So you mean refranes is separate from proverbs?
Sí.
Oh my God. This is when I thought I had an understanding of these things.
A ver, one of my favorites is Casa de Herrero, Cuchillo de Palo.
Who?
Casa de Herrero, Cuchillo de Palo.
Casa de...
Herrero. Herrero is blacksmith.
Okay.
So, Casa de Herrero, Cuchillo de Palo.
House of the blacksmith.
Cuchillo.
A knife is what?
Stick. Like a wooden stick.
So, in the house of a blacksmith, the knife is a stick?
Yes. You get it. See, it makes sense. So it has a wisdom in it.
Where's the wisdom?
The wisdom is that this blacksmith person doesn't have blacksmith in their house because, it's like if you're a pizza man, then the last thing that you eat at home is pizza.
How does that even... Do you see why you're a bad professor in Spanish right now? You're not a great Spanish teacher for me. That made no sense.
You know how it's typical that somebody is like an expert on something? Like maybe they dedicate their life to it as a profession or whatever. But then at home, they don't do that at all. Like, for example, let's say that I'm a... Uy, ¿cómo dices fontanero? The person that fixes the sewage and
plumber?
A plumber. So a person that is a plumber and that makes money being a plumber,
Yeah.
he will not take care of the plumbing in his home.
But that does not
Casa de herrero, cuchillo de
that does
palo.
not make any okay. Because I'm again your fantasy world as a blacksmith. Now, when I think of a blacksmith, I think that a blacksmith home is his work. Like he does his stuff there.
Okay, now you're like moving back to the Middle Age.
Where did you get these proverbs or refranes from?
Okay, because even if that was the case, they would have an atelier in their home, right? But then there is a door and a wall until they get to their home, so they don't bring work to their home. It makes sense, right?
I get the idea behind it.
But it's super useful. Like you
Yes,
find yourself in conversations that you're like, of course, casa herrera, cuchillo de palo.
Who would use that in a sentence?
We all do.
Why?
Because
That's so
it's a
out
behavior.
there. That is so out there, though. Just say like, well, he doesn't do that at home. That's it.
That's too simple.
So you gotta bring a blacksmith and then talk about his tools.
Yeah. Ooh, like a caballo regalado, no se le miran los dientes. A caballo regalado, no se le miran los dientes.
Something about a horse and his teeth.
Yeah, if they gifted horse, don't look at their teeth.
Yeah, we have that phrase. You don't look. Ours is you don't look a gifted horse in the mouth.
There you go.
You sound like your dad from My Big Fat Greek Wedding. There you go.
That's true. The funny thing is that when we watch movies and they say refranes or like frases hechas or things like that, I cringe because I'm like, ooh, he's not gonna get that. Ooh, he's not gonna get that.
I don't. That's why I have to pause the movie. Here we go. There's two that I've seen, and I need you to explain this one I have. That one there with the blacksmith, I've never heard that one, seen that one, or anything.
I say it a lot.
Oh, gosh. Well, obviously, I don't be listening to you. Dime con quién andas y te diré quién eres.
Yes.
That is like, I seen the translation was like, tell me who you walk with and I'll tell you who you are. Mm-hmm. Now that to me is a very good one. That to me is normal actually. That's a good way of like.
That's a good one. It's kind of boring, but yeah. Dime con quién andas.
Oh, so you're trying to say because I'm American, I'm boring. I'm looking at the simple ones, right?
No.
That's I know what you're saying. You're implying. I got it. But yes,
what I'm saying is that the sentence doesn't have.
Yeah, it doesn't have fantasy. It doesn't have a dragon with a big ass talking about something, right? I know, but that makes sense. You're a damn blacksmith with a knife and a stick.
And a flower in the ass.
And a flower in the ass. What else am I going to do with that? So, if those are refranes, how would you describe sayings then?
You don't have any more refranes for me?
I have a ton of refranes, but I don't got time to go through all of them because I know the comments are going to give me some refranes that I cannot understand and that I won't believe make sense. But continue, please.
Okay, so sayings are like frases hechas. There are things that we just say, like it's a package deal.
But that's
in language.
But that's how refranes seem to me.
No, because these refranes a lot of times rhyme. Sayings don't necessarily have to rhyme. A saying could be like just two words. Una frase hecha, it can be 2 words, 3 words. So, for example, a tomar por saco. A tomar por saco. 4 words.
A tomar por saco.
Sí.
Well,
tomar por saco.
Well, that one doesn't rhyme. You're saying refranes rhymes and sometimes rhyme.
Sometimes rhymes.
And this is just like regular sayings.
Regular sayings, regular frases hechas.
I've heard this one before and I didn't understand it at all.
I think that what you heard is a tomar por culo.
And that's like to take the butt? A tomar
por culo is that...
Take for butt?
Go get fucked in the ass.
How does that mean that?
Tomar por culo. I can't do movements here because then we'll get banned.
Tomar is to take, right?
Yes. Sometimes it's to take, sometimes it's to drink, sometimes it's...
Yeah. Okay, so if I'm taking por culo...
They're going to go give you por culo.
Give me the butt?
Te van a dar por culo.
Vete a tomar por culo. This doesn't make any sense, right?
But anyway, the PG version, because I promised you that we will not talk about ass for a while.
So this one, so the real one is the culo one, right?
I don't know which one is the real one.
Yeah.
I will tell you that that's the one that we use the most.
Of course.
A tomar por saco, like go fuck off. A tomar por saco. Saco is like a sack. Like
So it's a sack?
Yeah, like a sack.
So take a sack?
Yeah, go, sí. A tomar
Go
por saco.
see.
Es que, here's the thing. You ask me for those things that for me are like natural and ingrained in my brain. And it's really hard to give you a why of like why those words together mean that when you separate those words mean completely different things.
But that's my problem with Spanish, and this is
Okay.
why it's confusing, because it's not only the fact that you would say this in a sentence. Okay, if I translate it directly, I'm taking a sack, or take the sack, or whatever, or take for the
A tomar
sack.
por saco.
But it doesn't mean that. I mean, that's the problem. Like, I would listen to a conversation, and I'm translating, I'm following it, and then you say something that I translate is just like, what? Like, my favorite one,
A ver.
por si las moscas.
Por si las moscas.
I could be listening to someone talking, and it just be a casual conversation, just like, hey, you know what? I'm gonna go to the supermarket, and this is with you. I'm gonna go to the supermarket. You know, I'm gonna buy some cheese, some wine, and something else. For if the flies. For if what flies? For if the groceries, if the groceries are gonna fly, are there flies? Is something special about the flies?
You're not telling the story. We were doing our RV travels across the U.S. and we stopped in a Walmart and I said, I'm gonna get wine, and I literally said, por si las moscas in Spanish. And he was like, what of the flies? I'm like, por si las moscas. And then I had to explain everything about the por si las moscas.
I'm looking for flies.
And the por si las moscas, but I have to say this because it's really important. In certain states in the U.S., you cannot buy alcohol on Sundays.
That's not important.
It is important because that was the por si las moscas.
No.
What if I drink everything that I have in the caravana?
Well, first off, you already had like 9 bottles of wine.
I did not have 9 bottles of
in
wine.
the RV.
And you never know what's going to happen.
And my thing was, and she tells me.
Imagine a whole weekend without.
She tells me, just in case. I'm like, that's what it means, like, just in case. I'm like, just in case what? Every bottle of wine falls on the floor in the supermarket and they all shatter? You have wine. Push less moscas is for if the flies, and I still don't know what the flies are. Quick question. Is that the PG version? Is there a culo version or a teta version?
No.
For if the tits?
No.
Or for if the ass?
Por si las tetas.
That's not a real one, right?
No.
I mean, because then that's just in case. Just in case you get something. Don't get nothing.
No, the funny thing is that then the other day I said just in case, literally, por si acaso. And you were like, por si acaso?
Yeah, acaso. What is an acaso?
Case.
A case?
Just in case, por si acaso.
Acaso is case, though. No.
But that's what it translates. That would be the normal way of saying just in case.
Okay, so what does an acaso is then?
We don't have time for that.
You see why it's confusing? You see? Do you see what I mean?
But the thing is that you just gotta learn how they are. Like, stop questioning things. Just, you hear them. I tell you what more or less can it translate it to and how you can use it in a circumstance, and just run with it.
As someone learning, as an American learning Spanish, and I'm following the conversation, you have no idea how frustrating it is to be in the mix of the conversation, and then you get thrown a curveball, and I feel like I have to start all over. Like, I feel like I'm lost. And when you get to that point, it's so frustrating.
You know what you're like making me think right now? When we were a few years into our relationship and we came to Spain, and you kept hearing the word leche everywhere. And you were like, I barely see you drinking milk in restaurants. Why do I hear people talking about milk every now and then?
I'm like, man, the milk must be bad here or something. I'm like, is this why I don't have milk or something?
Yeah, so milk obviously is milk, leche, but you can be, puedes estar de mala leche.
Is that like bad milk?
To be in bad milk.
Okay.
So to have a bad humor in that moment.
Yeah, I know.
Mood.
And also you use bread a lot as well.
And then we use bread a lot.
Now, I'll be honest. When I've heard like the comments about bread, I'm like, I always get excited. I'm like, okay, we're buying bread. This is good. Whenever you say something about bread, because you always, like, when you go on the street, you always see somebody with bread in their hand. It doesn't matter what time of the day it is. Yes, somebody has bread in their hand.
There's always somebody.
So I'm thinking we're going to get bread since you guys keep talking about bread. All I keep hearing is pan.
Claro, porque puede ser pan comido, el pan de cada día, el pan nuestro de cada día.
Is when you say something about pan, is it always good or is it always bad?
There could be a few times where something that could be good can be bad as well. So yeah, we have tons of things with pan, but even with leche, that they can be sometimes good, sometimes bad. So like, for example, la leche. Like if you just say la leche,
La leche.
it could be like, ooh, la leche. Like that's like top notch, like top tier. La leche. Eres la leche.
Okay.
But it could be bad too. Like if, like if a kid is misbehaving or like when our dogs are misbehaving sometimes, I'm like, eres la leche. So it could be good and it could be bad. Eres la leche, like you're the top thing, o eres la leche como estás perdido. Vamos.
I really want to be upset with that. I really do. Because it's very hard to talk about those things because it's confusing. La
Yes.
leche, if I hear la leche, I'm still confused on whether it's good or if it's bad. And I don't get why people use it so confusingly. But at the same time, in English, we have something that's like that. Like something could be, the shit, or it could just be shit.
There you go. There you go.
So I can understand it. I can accept that one.
Yes.
I can accept that one. However, how do you know? How can you tell that?
Based on the context of the conversation. If you are into the conversation, so like sometimes there is not like a logical reason for why this or that, or maybe it's too complicated to just always keep that in your mind. Just think about what the conversation is about. So like if, for example, we're talking about Fernando Alonso and how great he is.
Oh my
Fernando's la leche. So what does that mean? That Fernando is great.
Yeah, Fernando's great. You don't drag me into the driving conversation.
We have to make the video about the driving thing because people is asking for it, and I know you are asking for it.
Yeah, I got a lot to say about that one.
I think they're gonna start thinking about taking your residency away and kick you out of the country because I think you have become enemy number one of the country. However, it is true that going back a little bit, we use la leche and pan a lot. And I am not 100% sure why. Like, where is this coming from? Like, I know why. Like, I use it all the time, obviously.
I mean, because, you have bread. I don't understand the milk. The bread I got. The milk I don't get.
Well, but if anybody knows, because I'm sure that somebody that is watching us knows exactly where these sayings come from, the pan and la leche and why we use it so much.
Well, pan, I can just guess that it's in your life every day. There's not a day that bread is not in your life. So that's fine.
Al pan pan y al vino vino.
Al papano que vino vino?
Al pan pan y al vino vino.
And what is that? The pan? The
in English bread? Will be to each their own.
To each their own?
Yeah, al pan pan y al vino vino.
Okay, I guess I don't know what to say to that.
Now, along with the things that can be bad and good at the same time, we have a lot of one word or one sound things that could be confusing for you.
Yeah, because the same way how you say pan or leche, depending on how you say it, apparently, how it sounds when it comes out can change if it's good or bad.
So one of my favorite, I use two a lot. One of them is bois.
Bois?
Bois. B-U-A. H. You can put the H if you want. Bois.
Bois. Are you like an evil villain that laughs? Bois.
No, that's mwahaha.
Yeah, I know that's mwahaha, but some say bois. Bowser used to say bois.
So bois can be really good or bois can be really bad. So
how?
I can't. Espérate, lo voy a decir.
No, because I'm really jumping in here. Like, there's no way that can sound good.
What do you mean?
Bois. Like, it just has like an evil tone to it.
Bois, qué pedazo de película.
I don't care. No. I don't care about what you say afterwards. I'm talking about the word bois. Like, there's no way that sounds good.
Bois. When it's open, bois. That's good.
And that make it sound bad.
Yeah, and then when you say bois, see, it's close.
That's not even the same word.
It is the same word, you crazy.
You said bois, and then you said bois.
You're an idiot.
Bois.
I love you when you're an idiot.
That's a different word.
Bois.
Bois? Bois?
No, son iguales. Es bois.
That's good?
Bois. Es lo mismo.
You smiling in both of them, so they.
Because I'm a happy person. Yes, I am. Okay, the other one is oof. I use oof all the time. Used
oof. Oof is always bad.
No. It could be good.
No,
it can 100% be good.
It cannot.
Que sí.
I use oof, and every time I have to say oof, it's always something bad. Like I see someone fall or I see something go crazy, I'm like, oof.
No, when you say something that makes no sense or that makes me ashamed.
Oof.
Oof.
Okay, and now when would you use it good or try to make it sound good? Yeah, exactly.
Uf, cuánta comida.
No,
but
no.
that's
See,
not good.
that's see, exactly. Always bad.
No. Uf can be good.
No,
Pay attention when I talk.
but you
Uf, qué
can't.
chulo.
You can't even use oof right now.
Uf,
Good.
qué bueno.
That doesn't sound good. It's like oof, bad.
Are you like the judgment of how things sound or not sound?
I'm just telling you. It just sounds bad. It's not about me being the judge. It just sounds bad.
It's like your wow. Wow can be good or can be bad.
But we say it differently.
But it's the same word.
It is the same word, but we say it differently. It would be the equivalent of bois and bois. No, but we were saying like
It's like you're doing it in slow motion. Boa. Tonto.
but it would be like, oh, you'd be like, wow. Or then if we're being sarcastic, like, wow. Like that's the sarcastic tone we'll have with it.
It just sounded the same way.
No, it's not sounding the same way.
You'll hear it when you edit the video. You're gonna
we can be like, wow, or like, wow. That does not sound the same way. And you can add a sarcastic tone to it, and you can add it just, or you can slow it down where you'd be like, wow. That does not sound good at all. There's a big difference.
I want to invite everybody to go down to the comment section and leave your favorite refranes, your favorite frases hechas, and your one words that can be used for good and for bad, because we have tons of them. The ones that I use the most is oof and bois.
Oof and bois.
Como
just
a la Madrid.
I'm sure, like, listen, you guys got some explaining to do, because all this fantasy talk that you guys have, this mythical language we use, and that I'm learning, yeah, someone has to explain this, because I got no chance here. Please, explain it to me.
Explain it to me. I'm going to give you a wonderful advice.
Okay.
For these endeavors that you have about learning Spanish.
Oh, yes, please.
So, my advice to you is, toda regla tiene su excepción.
Toda regla. What?
Toda regla tiene su excepción.
Something is an exception.
Regla.
¿Qué es regla?
Rule.
A rule?
Toda regla tiene su excepción.
All rules have an exception?
Yeah.
Oh.
So,
look at me. I'm translating.
After I gave you the significado de cada palabra, vamos a ver. En fin, you have to think like that about Spanish. Like, not everything is going to have a Y. And even if when they have a Y and when they have a rule, just be ready to break it. When I was learning French, that was the first thing that my French teacher told me. She said, listen, these are the whatever rules in French. And just know that for every rule, there is 7 exceptions. So be ready to face a lot of exceptions to a rule. And yes, you may think, if it's a rule and it has so many exceptions, maybe it's not a rule, because that's what I said back in the days. Well, just get over it.
I'm looking for a refranes or a saying to say to you right now, because what's the point?
What's the point of what?
All of that. Like, what if there's an exception and there's a rule, but the rule can be broken, or there's an exception to the rule, then why even have the rule?
There could be 7 exceptions
How do
to
you,
the rule.
Yeah, that's French, though.
Yes.
French
and Spanish are not that far off in rules. Okay, one thing. You have not spoken in Spanish in this video, and you have gotten people accustomed to say something in Spanish. So,
I have not gotten people accustomed to say anything in Spanish.
So say something in Spanish.
Hola. Caracola.
Te voy a reventar.